Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be going over a ton of tips and tricks in Godot, so let's get started. So the first one, you can actually middle mouse click on any open scripts or tabs and it's going to close them. So for tabs this isn't as big of a deal, right? You just middle mouse click and it closes them. But for scripts you usually have to go to File and then Close, so this is definitely going to speed up your workflow a bit. Now a lot of people know you can click and drag a node from your scene tree and then hold Control when you drop it, which is going to make that onReady variable. But I also found that you can do this with VS Code as well. So if I open my scene file, which is the playerhud.tscn, and then click on the Godot Tools tab, I can then switch back to my script view and then just click and drag any node, and it has the exact same functionality where it makes that onReady variable. A lot of times when you have a process function, you have this delta argument, and if I run this game, I'm going to get a warning saying that delta is not used, and this applies to any arguments that you aren't using in a function. If you want to disable these warnings, you can just go to Project Settings, and then if you scroll down to Debug and go to GDScript, it's going to be this one, the unused parameter. I would just switch this to Ignore, and you can do this for all the other warnings. So I know when there's like an unused signal in an event bus, it's typically being used in a different script, but you still get the warning, so this is also a good thing to just ignore. Another quick tip is that if you hold down Alt and click in your script view, it's going to make multiple cursors, and then you can type from all of these at the same time. So in the case that I was like defining enemy data or something, I could just click all three of these entries at the same time, and then make a new dictionary and define like their attack value. So just another efficiency tip that you can whip out every now and then when you're coding. Now a feature that I really like and use constantly is if you hit Ctrl P on your keyboard, it's going to open the like quick search menu, and you can literally search for any resource in your project folder. Now fuzzy search is a new addition to this in 4.4, so you don't even have to type the name specifically. If I wanted to just open like the player script, I don't need to type it perfectly, and you can see I have all my player files in a list right here. Now our next tip is brought to you by Brilliant, which is also the sponsor of today's video. Brilliant is an amazing resource for learning. They have thousands of carefully handcrafted courses that will guide you through things like math, science, and programming. Their courses let you play with concepts with a more hands-on and interactive way of learning, which is proven to be 6 times more effective at teaching you than just listening to a lecture or something like that. They also offer plenty of engaging problems to help with your problem-solving skills, and also just daily encouragement to help you stay motivated and on track with your learning goals. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of learning each day is one of the best habits that you can build, and Brilliant makes it especially easy as they also have a mobile app. Now you can try everything that Brilliant has to offer for free for 30 days by heading over to brilliant.org/Qubel, or by scanning the QR code like right here on the screen. You can also head down to the link in the description if that's easier. Now, if you do choose to start using Brilliant, you're going to get 20% off an annual subscription with my link. But aside from that, thank you so much to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. Now on to the next Godot tip. If you have different types of export variables, so like I have some for stats, and then I have some for like the equipment of this entity, they're going to all show up in the same spot in the inspector, and you can actually split this up. So I could say like @export, and then if I do group, I can give the group a name. So in this case, I'll do stats, and then I'll also copy this over and do equipment. It's going to make 2 little drop downs for each one of these groups. So it just helps split things up a bit in your inspector. In addition to Godot 4.4 was the export tool button. So I can essentially say I want this button in my inspector, and then I will bind it to a specific function. So now if I have a tool script running, which is basically a script that runs in the editor, whenever I click on this button in the inspector, it's going to execute the function. So this is obviously a lot easier than setting up the whole like Boolean variable with a setter function, which I think is pretty handy. Now another thing that I don't see people using enough is just simply Ctrl F. So I can hit Ctrl F to search in the current file, and if I select a variable and hit Ctrl F, it's going to show me everywhere that this variable is used inside of this file. I can also hit Ctrl Shift F, and this is going to bring up my search for every single file in my project folder. So for example, if I want to find every time the player is referenced, it's going to pop up a huge list of every single time I say player in my files, and these are all organized by which script they're actually inside of. Now next up, we're just going to go over a ton of different types of print statements. So I'm sure most of you use the basic print statement. Whenever you run it, it's going to print a message to the output. And even though this is like the first thing you learn in coding, there's a ton of different variations to this. So the first one that I really like using is if you do print debug, whenever we run this, it's going to print the location that it was printed from. So we get the file and also the line and the function. Now we can also use print tree, and this is going to print the current node and all of its children node in like a tree structure to the output. Now if this is too, ugly to look at, you can always use print tree pretty, and this is going to make it a bit more readable with this cool little like tree structure. So just a way to visualize your node setup in the outputs. Now another fun one is the print rich function, and this is just going to support BB code. So if you don't know what BB code is, I will leave a link to the documentation, and you can read up on everything you can do with BB code, but it's essentially like changing the size of the font, changing the color of the font. You can also do like images and animations and stuff with your text. But for this one, I'm basically just setting the color of my message to green. So if we run this, it's going to stand out a lot more, which is sometimes very helpful. We also have print stack, which is just going to print like a stack trace at the current line. So in this case, we're just printing that we're on frame 0 on this specific line in this specific file, and it also gives us the function that we're printing it from. You can use print error, which is short for print error, and this is just going to print a custom error, which is basically just red text. It's not going to like crash your game like an actual error would, but it's really helpful for printing like warnings. And then lastly, we have print S and also print T, which are going to print all of the arguments separated by either a space or a tab. So instead of having to actually like add a space after all of your strings, you can just call these methods directly and it's going to automatically format it, which I think saves a lot of time, honestly. Now, one of the coolest tips that I am now using every day as of 4.4 is whenever you run your game, you can now embed the game into your actual editor. So you can see right here, I have it floating, but if I click on these 3 dots, I can uncheck this make game workspace floating on next play, which is a very long setting name. I don't know why they did that, but anyways, next time I run the game, it's going to actually embed it into this game tab window, which is actually inside of the Godot application. And most of you probably already know about this, but another really cool feature that kind of goes along with this is if you switch to the 2D input mode, or it would be the 3D if you're in like a 3D game, and then go to this list select, you can basically click anywhere in your game and it's going to pop up a list of all the nodes that are at that position. So in this case, I want to select my little mushroom item there, and it's going to be this collectible augment. And it's going to select it in the inspector, which you guys don't understand like how huge this is, because I'm sure most of you have tried to like find a node and its properties while playing the game, and you have to go to the remote tab and then you have to like search through all your collectible augments and figure out which one it is. But this just speeds up the debugging process like 8 billion%. I don't know, it's super helpful. So definitely make sure that you are utilizing this new game window. Anyways, though, that's going to do it for this video. If you want to see more Godot tips and tricks and just general info, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like. And if you have any more tips that you want to share with the community, you can leave those in the comments. Quick shout out to all the current channel members. Thank you guys for all your support. And if you want to become a channel member or check out any of the other links like the Discord invite, those are going to be in the description or in my bio as well. But thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.